Today we will talk about one of the emerging technologies, which is 3D printing. In early 2000, we used to use something called as rapid prototyping to make prototypes before we make hard tools. It was actually 3D printing. We used to have materials which was amenable to make soft prototypes, not metal, basically resin based prototype, and we could use multiple colors to have a basic understanding of the form factor, and that was very useful in visualizing the product before we make the production or the regular tools. Even today, one of the most commonly used application of 3D printing is to make prototypes. Okay. In this session, we will look at two aspects of 3D printing. One aspect is that what is the likelihood of this becoming one of the mainstay manufacturing process to produce end products, and already some companies are using it to make small series production, which is personalized or the bespoke eyewear. What is the future and what is the impact of that segment going forward? Okay. First, let us look at the technology in itself. Any technology, for it to be widely used, it should solve a problem. Okay, it should solve an existing problem. For example, the freeform technology solved a problem of the need to have multiple thousands of tools, multiple types of progressive blanks, etc. So the lens manufacturers were able to have practically a single blank and produce any design. So that is why the world has slowly but very surely changed to freeform technology in the lens space. Similarly, the 3D printing has that potential to make a lot of difference in the manufacturing process. But as of now, it is not being very widely used. Let us see why. One major limitation of 3D printing is that the media which is used is predominantly resin based, and many manufacturers have not started combining it with the traditional other processes like metalworking and machining parts. Okay, so once that happens, then this process can actually help create more varieties. It can reduce batch sizes, it can reduce costs in a larger manner. Having said that, let us look at the current scenario. The current scenario, because of this limitation of material, the variety that this technology can offer is very limited. For any product or a segment to be appealing to a marketeer or a company, it should be relevant to a large section of the customers. That is when the volumes will come, therefore the economies of scale we can achieve. Because right now the manufacturers are not using the additive technology or the 3D printing for making metal parts, the selection of products that can be offered, whether it is bespoke or not, is very limited. So until this inflection point is reached, the volumes will remain low. Having said that, on the development side, this technology can be extremely useful. Most people are already using it, and it will only become much more prevalent in future. That it can be used for making prototypes, it can be used for making display units, display products, pieces for before the actual production starts, to showcase the product for in exhibitions and things like that. So it can reduce lead times. But as the technology improves, and more than the technology, as the innovative mind is applied to combine 3D printing or the additive technology along with the normal processing techniques, then we will see a wide range of products coming out of a combination of conventional and 3D printed technologies. For example, many companies have now started using this process to make smart eyewear. In the smart eyewear, one of the biggest challenges is the form factor, because you have to incorporate electronics, you have to incorporate the battery, etc. The thickness of the temple or the front becomes very thick, and it doesn't really look nice. So people who are only so much into the gadgets type of products, so they are using these products. But then the smart eyewear is likely to grow very fast using this process. Why? Because we can use this process to integrate electronics, to integrate probably a solar panel equivalent into the main body of the product, and that itself can become very sturdy and amenable to very good form factor. So therefore, when this innovation, it's only in the creativity of the manufacturers and designers to integrate this process along with other manufacturing processes, where you can leverage it to incorporate smart elements, to incorporate decorative elements, to incorporate designs, and at a very shorter batch sizes. That is one of the biggest advantages of this process. Literally, you can produce one piece each of what is required. Okay, and in the lenses also, one or two companies have already started making lenses using additive technology. The limitation there is that right now there is only one material that is being used, and therefore there is only one index, and because of that the power ranges that they can offer is also limited. But otherwise, within that power range, within that material combination, the limitless options that the freeform offers, this technology can also offer. And one of the biggest problems this process provides, especially in lens making, is the material consumption. And especially when you look at high cost materials like MR8 or the thinner material, the high index materials, the cost savings can be phenomenal. Right now in any, whether it is freeform or conventional processing, almost 70% of the raw material is going out as swarf. But in additive technology, you can literally get zero wastage and conserving that much material, both in terms of cost and in terms of the carbon footprint or the effect on the environment or the pollution. It will make a lot of difference. So that way, it's only a matter of time before the multiple material types are developed. And in the lenses, definitely I look forward to and am confident that this will get adopted very fast. And also, one more reason why the adaptation will be faster is that this machine will cost very less, and even smaller players, people who have 20, 40, 50 stores chains, they can start making the lenses by themselves. And for that, it has to get combined with some kind of easier coating technology. Some processes are also under development in coating, where you don't need very expensive PVD or sputtering machines, and you can do it by dip coating. And when that converges along with this additive manufacturing, the lens manufacturing will transform, and this will play a very vital role. So if you want to sum it up, this technology right now is very useful for making prototypes, useful for making tools, the initial tools, and also to make bespoke products. But as and when the industry and the manufacturers start experimenting with the conventional technology and this confluence, then the volumes will increase. And right now, this is from a question mark, it has become a kind of a rising star, and in the future days, it may take some time, but in future days it will become one of the mainstays or the cash cow process for the industry.